5-minute finance videos. These are introductory. You can see the videos in yellow that we've already covered. Let's go into sources of income today. Sources of income. This is for your elderly. Bottom income, middle income, top income. Let me translate that for you. You're probably not supposed to say this. Poor people, middle class people, rich people. If you had a problem with me saying poor people, well, then you better have had a problem with me saying rich people. If you didn't mind when I said rich people, then you shouldn't mind when I say poor people. Anyway, you can see that the rich people have many more sources of income. And what we're saying is money incoming. The money coming in, what are the sources of that? You're going to see here like, hey, there's only one source. Hey, there's kind of only two sources. Hey, there's multiple sources. They are diversified. They have different places for the money to come in. And they've done that by working throughout their life, earning a lot of money, making a lot of wise investments and choices so that when they retire, when they're elderly, they have a lot of different sources of income so that they can weather a lot of storms. If an emergency happens, if Social Security gets cut off, then they've got other places to go to get their money. They have money coming in from Social Security. That's the government retirement. Pension, that would be their own personal retirement from where they're working. So that's paying them every single month. And then assets, this would be homes, boats, rental properties, beach houses, jewelry, fine art, anything that they own that has a value that they could liquidate or sell for cash. And you can see that they have a lot of different sources so that they can weather a lot of storms or that they can be very wealthy throughout the rest of their life. Middle income, they're doing decent, but they're doing less. They're requiring a lot more on Social Security. Let me fix one real quick assumption that you think, oh, well, they'll be all right. They got 87% Social Security. Well, if we were to really show the actual money here, so this looks like they all have the same amount of money because it's all the same circles. But if we were to make the circles represent the actual money they have coming in through pension, the actual income coming from the source for Social Security, well, this top tier would be a lot like this. And then the bottom tier or the poor, their circle would actually be a lot more like this. And they're completely requiring on Social Security. The Social Security check only goes so high. The Social Security check does not cover everything. Relying completely on Social Security when you're elderly is a terrible choice. It is a terrible choice. It's always the same fixed amount. It's not going to help you in a case of emergency. So you're going to need something else. That's why the people here in the middle class do a little bit better because they've got that pension check coming in along with the Social Security check. They have many sources. They have just one. When you are working, this is the way that you earn a lot of money so that you can have money later on. And really the biggest places are going to be earned income. That's the money that you get from a job or multiple jobs. Those are the streams or the sources of income. You probably are not buying and selling goods. If you are, great. That's another source. Interest, if you're lending out money, probably not doing that. Great if you are. Dividend, owning stocks is something that you definitely can do. And that's the asset that they have right here. They bought and sold stocks. So now one of their assets is that they own a lot of different shares of companies. They can sell those shares when they get older and turn it into cash, or they can just sit on it, maybe pass it on down to their descendants. Also, royalties, probably not going to write a song or invent something that you earn royalties off of, but that's another source of income. And then rental income, if you own a house and then you rent it out to people, that's income coming in every single month. So you bring in the rental money, you bring in the stock money, you bring in the money from your multiple jobs, you accrue that money throughout your life, you pay that money into your pension, they pay that money into assets, and then you could be right here and very safe in retirement and take care of your family. But if you're not earning a lot of income throughout your life, then you're going to end up over here or over here. So if you want to have many sources of income when you are elderly and retired, then you need to have multiple sources of income while you're working. Or if you just have one really good earned income, that's good. But if you have one really good job where you're earning a lot of money, then it would make sense to also take some of that money and invest it in stocks or assets or even a rental property. Don't just sit on your money. Variable earnings. As a teacher, I have a fixed earning rate. I get the same thing every single week, or every month. But I have freelance part-time work, and that's a variable earning. It goes up and down. It just depends on how much money I earn. So when we talk about variable earnings, we're talking about workers who sometimes earn a lot, sometimes they earn less, sometimes it's seasonal, sometimes in the summer they get rich, and then in the winter months they absolutely make nothing. We're talking about earnings that vary. It's a variable. So regular employment with fluctuating hours. So it might be a steady job, but sometimes you work 40 hours, sometimes you work no hours. Regular employment with fluctuating overtime or commissions. If you're a car dealer and you sell one car this month, probably not making very much money. But if you sell 50 cars this month, then you are rich. That's a variable earning. You have good months, you have bad months. And you can see more examples here: seasonal work, contract work. Hey, you got a job to build a house. Hey, we didn't get any jobs to build a house this week. That's what variable earnings are. It works, it's fine, but if you are a variable earner, if you're a variable earner, this requires a lot of planning. You got to check your bank account because you can't count on having the same amount of money every single month. Sometimes when you're rich, you got to make sure you set some aside for when you don't get work, so that when you're not working, you can take that money from where you were doing really well and pay for everything. So if you're going to be a variable worker, a lot of times you can get really rich by working really hard, but you also have to manage your bank account really well.